What is going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar and welcome back to the PPL team building. Now this week is week number 3. Last week we had a tough loss against Travesty, which wasn't really that tough of a loss because we only lost 2-0. And the fact that it was against Travesty, who is a fantastic battler, I'm honestly not that upset about it. Yeah, I'm upset with some of the plays I made, but you know, it is what it is. Shit happens. Now it's time to move on to this week, and we are playing against somebody that I've been looking forward to playing for a very long time, since PPL Season 1, when I wasn't even in the PPL. We are playing against Jack, the Don Fanatic, and the Norwich Skitty. Now, real quick, a little bit of a backstory. PPL Season 1, I watched most of the battlers. I watched Shroom, Ellie, Troy, Rye, Jack, Fred. There was one other person I watched that I can't think off the top of my head that I was... Either way, but I was really, I don't want to say unimpressed and sound mean, but I knew that Jack wasn't the strongest, and to look at where Jack has come, he's honestly one of the strongest battlers in the league right now, and to see him improve and then for me to be able to battle him is absolutely fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to battling him. He actually has a pretty threatening team for mine. I think he has team matchup this week, so I have to try extra hard. His team consists of Megalatios, not Latios, because people think that thing is broken. Whatever. Skarmory, Florges, Nidoking, Zoroark, Heliolisk, Gastrodon, Darmanitan, and Hitmonlee. Now, real quick, let's go over what I think the biggest threats on my team are. There are a couple of them, honestly. Darmanitan I don't really see being brought just because of Lomamola, so I don't really see that being a massive threat. Skarmory I don't see being a massive threat, and Gastrodon I don't really see being a massive threat, but everything else is really difficult for me to handle and is honestly a pain in the ass for me to prepare for. I think I built a pretty decent team for it, however it's still scary to deal with. The main way that I went for this team builder was actually very different compared to the way I normally do it. I normally go about my team builders in the fashion that I look at the opponent's team, I see what can do a massive amount of work, and I build around it. For Jack's team, I couldn't do that because, yeah, I have some things that do a lot of work to his team, but for me to build around something that does a lot of work, I kind of sort of left holes for stuff that does a lot of work to my team, so I had to look at what does a lot to my team and build around that and stop the threats, if that makes any sense at all. So, this match, I have high hopes for. I think I can do well. I think I can come out on top. Honestly, I just have to be very careful. And the thing that I noticed could stop a lot of my mons and could potentially stop me from winning was Florges. Reason being, because it only being weak to Poison and Steel, and my Steel type being Fortress, and my Poison type being Amoonguss, I can't beat them. Because it can have Hidden Power Fire, and it can have Psychic, or it can be Calm Mind with Synthesis, and Psychic and Hidden Power Fire. Like, there's a lot of things that I can do to my team to just screw me up. So, I was really worried about that. And another thing that could kind of sort of be a problem that I'm starting to notice in my playtesting is Gastrodon. So I kind of had to make some last minute changes to my team that I'm hoping I'll get a chance to change on the graphics. If not, you'll audibly hear me change it, but just know that the graphics are not correct. So, now that you guys know what I'm scared of, let's go ahead and take a look at the team that I'm bringing. Starting off this week, I had a little bit of a difficult decision. I knew I wanted to bring Mega Manectric first, no doubt about it. However, the spread on Mega Manectric was so difficult for me to come up with because I don't need to be timid for this match. I could be modest, I could be lonely, I could be whatever I wanted, but I don't need a lot of speed investment at all. But the problem is, if I wanted to invest a lot of it in bulk, then that means that Florges really walls me, like really, really badly, and I don't like that whatsoever. So I decided to go mixed this week with a lot of attack and a lot of special attack and 60 EVs with a hasty nature, and this allows me to outspeed his entire team. Aside from Scarfers, I outspeed everything on his team, and I can do a lot of damage to his team. Volt Switch is there to gain me momentum. He has a couple things that want to switch into Volt Switches in the Gastrodon and the Nidoking, which neither really enjoy taking Hidden Power Grass. Nidoking takes it better than Gastrodon because it's 4 times super effective. However, it still takes a decent amount of damage from it. One thing I forgot to mention that I'm kind of sort of a little worried about are his sweepers. His sweepers are right in the speed range that I have nothing. Like, when I say I have nothing, I literally mean I have nothing. I have a couple base 100s, and then it drops right the fuck down to like 50 or something like that. So I'm trying to think of my next fastest mon. I think it's 50, maybe with a Azumarill. So he could run like an adamant Hitmonlee with barely any speed investment to outspeed like a max speed Azumarill and have a lot of bulk, and then just be a massive problem for my team. So that's another thing I'm really worried about. So I kind of had to take that into consideration. So you'll see that the last move that I have on this thing is Thunder Wave. Reason being, I want to Thunder Wave a decent portion of his team. If he decides to bring the Gastrodon, then I'm not going to be able to Thunder Wave things freely, and if he brings Nidoking, I'm not going to be able to. However, I still want to be able to Thunder Wave things like the Zoroark, the Hitmonlee, the Darmanitan, the Mega Latios. The Mega Latios is the #1 thing I want to paralyze, because if you notice his sweepers, they're very weak to Aqua Jet and Mach Punch, which I have both of. So I'm hoping that he realizes this, and he thinks that Mega Latios will be a free switch in. Not really free, but a decent switch into this, because the most I can do to hit it with is like Signal Beam, and even then if he's like bulky-ish, it doesn't do a whole lot, so I was kind of worried about that. But that's basically Mega Manectric. It's very, very simple. The 196 in attack and Iron Tail allows me to do a decent chunk to Florges. It allows me to do, depending on his spread, if he's fully specially defensive, it allows me to do about 50% with it. And if I go for Volt Switch and he brings that in thinking that that's going to be his check for it, then that means whoop-de-doo for me. I know what spread it is because I'll be able to tell if it's physically defensive or especially defensive, and then I'll know what I can take it out with. With later mons that you will see very soon. But that's basically Mega Manectric. Hidden Power Grass for Gastrodon, obviously, not that big of a surprise. That's basically what this thing is there for. The only bad thing I dislike about it is that if I want to be able to outspeed things before I Mega Evolve, I have to run like max fucking speed, and that's just no bueno. I don't like doing that. So I'm not that worried about it. I can live any hit, especially if it's a physical hit for something. I can deal with it decently well, so I'm really hoping that that pulls through. But the next mon on the team is actually a mon that Jack and I have a bet on, and that is Flygon. Jack says that Flygon does absolutely nothing to his team. I beg to differ. It does a lot to his team, and when I say a lot, I mean it does a lot to his team. His sweepers, he has 3 of them that are weak to Earthquake, which I'm kind of thinking that he'll be bringing Scarfed Heliolisk to deal with it, because Hidden Power Ice, otherwise I can just spam Earthquakes. His main core is all 2-hit KO'd by Flygon. Aside from Florges, that's what I was saying earlier, Florges is a kind of a big problem, but if he's specially defensive, Earthquake does like 38 to like 45%. So even then, it's decent damage, and then I can come in and revenge kill it with certain things, like the Iron Tail for Mega Manectric if he's low enough and things like that. But Flamethrower, if he's physically defensive, the physically defensive Skarmory, that's what he has. This has a very solid chance to just straight up OHKO it, like very, very solid chance depending on his spread and things of that nature. If he's more especially defensive, it doesn't, but it still does a shit ton of damage and is an easy 2-hit KO. Even on especially defensive Skarmory. Giga Drain is there for Gastrodon. Very, very obvious. It is a very easy 2-hit KO on every single Gastrodon spread you can ever imagine that is not max special defense Rindoberry, which I think he might actually bring Rindoberry because I have a decent amount of grass coverage that he might want to switch into. But it just straight up does a shit ton of damage. Earthquake is there for his sweepers if he brings them not scarfed, like if he brings the wall breaking sets, like if he brings a very slow Nidoking, a very slow Darmanitan, I can outspeed it, Earthquake, and it still one-shots it. Even though I have 4 EVs in attack, it still does a shit ton of damage. And Dragon Claw to Mega Latios does a shit ton of damage. It does like 67%, so that's always nice whenever I can paralyze it with Mega Manectric or later mons, and I can just straight up do massive amount of damage to it. This thing could potentially be a late game sweep depending on how many things I have paralyzed, depending on how many things are weakened, depending on what he brings, and everything like that. This thing does a lot of work to his team. We had a bet that this thing couldn't get 3 kills, and I think it can actually get 3 kills this match depending on what he brings. If he brings Zerwork, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because I have to play this thing more carefully because I won't really know what is actually in. I have to kind of sort of guess, but that's not really the biggest threat to my team is in Zerwork. I think I have decent ways of checking it because it can't really do anything to Aloma Mola, so I don't really think I'll be bringing it because Aloma Mola this match honestly works very well. I bring like Assault Vest with Mirror Coat, but I opted not to bring it. Spoilers. But that's basically Flygon. Enough speed to outspeed max speed Darmanitan. So if he's like banded Darmanitan, I can outspeed it and one-shot it with an Earthquake. That's all that matters. I was going to run Earth Power, but it does significantly less damage, believe it or not. Especially to things like Heliolisk if it's Assault Vested, things like that. So I think we have to be bringing Choice Specs Heliolisk because it gets a kill every single time it comes in. Like, no joke. Every single time it comes in. So, but that is Flygon. Very simple. Very, very gorgeous, very special, very mixed. I love it. I love Flygon this season. I'm so happy. The next mon that I'm going to be going over is... I've used this mon very well, in my opinion, this season in these past couple games. I didn't use it the best last game because I kind of sort of sacked it off when I shouldn't have, but that is Azumarill. I'm bringing an Assault Vest Azumarill this week with Aquajet, Play Rough, Knockoff, and Iron Tail. Enough speed to outspeed 12 invested Florges, because Florges can have 244 EVs in HP and have an odd number of HP number. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I might have just done 12 to be safe, just in case. But I can outspeed it no matter what, which is nice. And I can just straight up go for an Iron Tail. And if he's specially defensive, it one shots 110% of the time. Aquajet also does a massive number to his team whenever you look at his sweepers. Like Nidoking and Darmanitan, they just straight up get one-shotted by this thing. This is also a very good check to Megalodios, because if I think that Megalodios is about to go on a rampage, and it's like dropping Dracos, it's Dragon Dancing, whatever have you, I can bring this thing in and I can take a hit. If it's Dragon Dancing, that's different. That's scary AF, and I don't really know what to do. But if he's like fully special or like Calm Mind, I can live a +1 Thunderbolt or Energy Ball, and I can go for Play Rough and straight up one-shot it. It's insane how much damage it does. Knockoff is there for just general things. I'm hoping that if I have this thing in early game and I figure out what a switch-in is, I can knock off its leftovers, or Rocky Helmet, or things like that, or Rindoberry on Gastrodon, because I think Gastrodon might be coming in on this thing a lot. Another thing that kind of sort of worries me is the Heliolisk with this thing. I can't take hits from Heliolisk, believe it or not, because I don't have a lot of HP investment. I just have the Assault Vest to boost my Spidef a little bit. But the Heliolisk is kind of sort of scary. I can't have hits if it's Choice Specs, so I need to be careful about clicking Aquajet, because I know he'll be bringing Heliolisk. It's his favorite mon on his team. He's fantastic with it. I have to be careful for it. But Azumarill has the insane potential to clean up late game. The Assault Vest really does come in handy, though, because Megalodios is a massive problem for my team. It's a massive problem for my team. So it's a massive problem for any team, honestly, but I don't think it's broken. It's just very good in the format. It's kind of like Mega Medicham. Nothing switches into it, but things can kill it, if that makes sense. But Azumarill is going to be fantastic. I'm really excited to use it. I think it'll be a decent set this week. Belly Drum is not my playstyle, so this thing just works out perfectly. I'm really happy for it. The next mon on the team is the newly picked up Togetic. This mon, it's another check to Megalodios. It is also a pretty decent check to Hitmonlee, because if he's banded or something like that, I can take hits pretty decently with it. I'm rocking the moves Body Slam, Roost, Defog, and Dazzling Gleam. This is literally there just to hopefully get Parahacks. If not, so be it. But Serene Grace Body Slam is cool. I like it. Roost and Defog are obvious, and Dazzling Gleam is just standard stab. It's my hazard removal. However, I don't think hazards will be going up on his side, because his main hazard setter is going to be Skarmory. It can be Nidoking, but I don't think it will be. If it is, it's going to be toxic spikes, and then it's going to be a little bit more of a problem. But luckily, this thing is immune to toxic spikes. I'm not bringing heal bell, so I'm a little worried about toxic spikes. But I don't think rocks would be that big of a problem because of other things on the team like Flygon and such what, and Mega Man Electric. I have a lot of things to stop Skarmory. I don't think he'll be bringing Skarmory, honestly. I don't think it's good against my team. If he does, and that just means that it's kind of an easier kill, and it's one less thing to worry about. But this thing is very self-explanatory. I'm hoping I can get off Body Slams and get off Paras. If I'm not bringing Body Slam, I'm going to be bringing Thunder Wave. I haven't really checked to see if Serene Grace and Body Slam are compatible yet. I just had the idea like 30 minutes before I recorded this. I was like, why am I running Thunder Wave? Nidoking is a very easy switch in. If I go for Body Slam, I can get Paras on the Nidoking. So I need to double check and see if Serene Grace is compatible with Body Slam. If not, then I'm going to be running Thunder Wave, but that's the hope there. Max HP, max defense, because I don't really need a lot of special defense to take on Megalodios. I just don't. It's awesome. And Dazzling Gleam does a decent chunk to it. If he's not Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam does like 45%. That's awesome. That makes me really happy. But Togetic is awesome. I'm really happy for it. The next mon that I knew I wanted to bring from the very start was Miltank. This is a very unique spread, and I'm very happy for it. I'm bringing Body Slam, Stealth Rock, Milk Drink, and Thunder Wave. Again, in case you can't tell, I want to paralyze him. And I'm bringing the Chople Berry with 60 Speed EVs, Jolly Nature, and 244 in HP, and 204 in Spadef. Believe it or not, this is a very good Darmanitan switch in, because Darmanitan is kind of sort of a problem for the team I have right now. This is a decent switch in. Superpower does not one-shot me because of the Chople Berry. I can get off a Thunder Wave. If I think that I can live multiple hits, I'll go for Body Slam for damage too, like against walls, and then I can Milk Drink things up. But against sweepers, I can just Thunder Wave them right up. The speed. That is to outspeed an Adamant max speed Hitmonlee. So if he's bringing a Choice Banded Hitmonlee, I'm going to Thunder Wave it. Unless he brings Limber. Then I'm screwed. I just now thought about that. Hitmonlee gets Limber. Fuck, I need to remember that. But this thing is actually really cool. I like it a lot. It can do a decent amount of work to his team. I also have Stealth Rock because I kind of want to break Skarmory's Sturdy, along with maybe getting some chip damage on things like Zoroark and Heliolisk. The main thing I want to have Stealth Rocks for is if he does bring Zoroark and he switches something else in and then switches it out and then it comes back in with full health, I will know that that's Zoroark, or that the one before was Zoroark. So it'll kind of show it a little bit more obvious, if that makes sense. Also, 25% on Darmanitan is nice, but I really think that this thing will be very crucial. This thing also takes on Zoroark pretty decently, which makes me happy. But Thunder Wave and Milk Drink are going to be some really key moves this match. I'm really hoping to just paralyze at least half of this team. If I can paralyze half of his team, then that means that Azumarill has a very easy time just killing it off. And that makes me happy. That makes me very happy. Along with Flygon, because Flygon outspeeds and does a lot of damage to his team, so that would be always nice. That would be always nice. I'm good at English, I promise you. But special wall, I had a physical wall. I'm going very offensive this week, like very offensive, because I can't really match his wall breaking powers with my bulk. I just can't. There's nothing on my team that just says, well, you wall his entire team. Because I don't. He has like some of the best wall breakers in the game in Darmanitan and Nidoking. I can't match it at all. The final Pokemon on the team is going to be Infernape. Life Orbed Infernape. I have not brought Life Orb yet this season. I'm bringing 2 this game, which is awesome. Gunk Shot, Mach Punch, Overheat, Grass Knot. 236 in attack, 36 in special attack, and 236 in speed. This allows me to outspeed 105 Zoroark. Which I don't really think I need to outspeed Zoroark, but just in case, I like to have it. And Gunk Shot, Florges, it does a shit ton of damage if he's specially defensive. Mach Punch destroys. It straight up one-shots Heliolisk and Zoroark with the speed with the HP investment that they can have. They can have very little HP investment because Zoroark needs to outspeed Flygon, and Heliolisk needs to outspeed this, so they can have 4 or 36 HP EVs on 4 for the Heliolisk, and 36 for Zoroark, so that's always nice. And Mach Punch just straight up one-shots him. So if I have this thing left and that's all he has left, I can lock myself into Mach Punch and just kill him. Overheat, does a straight up like 690% to Skarmory, so that's always nice. Originally over Grass Knot I had U-Turn. U-Turn might still be on the layout. That was mainly just to gain me momentum. I found that I wasn't clicking it at all, and if he brings Gastrodon, I want to have a third wave hitting Gastrodon super effectively. Even if he's especially defensive, with the investment I have, it does about 48%, so that's always nice. So if he's low enough, I can just send this in and revenge kill it, which is always nice. Especially if he's paralyzed, all I have to do is basically wait for Parahacks. It's going to happen. I don't want him to actually get Parahaxed, I want him to be slow, if that makes sense. But this thing is a powerhouse versus him. If I can actually get this thing sent in for free against the right thing, it does a shit ton of damage to his entire team, and that makes me really happy. But like I said in the beginning, Aqua Jet plus Mach Punch do a massive amount of work to all of his sweepers, so I need to keep that in mind. The only one that it doesn't hit super effectively is Hitmonlee, which is crazy to think about, but that's basically the team. I'm really happy with it. I think that it is a decent team. I don't think it's the best, but it's the best that I could do with what I had, because I wanted to paralyze him. I needed as many things to have Thunder Wave as possible, and if I brought Reuniclus, then that means that I'd be really weak to Zoroark, and that's no bueno, because now Zoroark gets Sludge Bomb, so I have to watch out for that on Azumarill and Togetic. But I just couldn't bring something that was so weak to Zoroark, because while yes, Mach Punch OHKOs it, that's a free switch into Latios, and that's scary, so I had to be very careful. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs barking. They're kind of a pain in the ass. But I'm really happy with this team. I think it's a very good team. I think it's the best that I could do, and I'm really excited for the match. We play tomorrow night. I think it's going to be probably one of the best matches that I've had in a very long time, which is weird because I say that about almost every single week, so here's to hoping. Good luck, Jack. I'm sorry if this is going up late, but we're battling Saturday, so that means that I won't be able to record and edit it like during the week to have it up on Saturday. So I'm hoping I can get it up like Saturday night, but we'll see. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like down below. Also leave a comment as to what you would change about the team and the team matchup. Just be respectful about it, that's all I ask. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.